And I'm really pleased that that you invited me for the chat, and I will do my best so that we can inspire each other, because it's not only me, it's also about the discussion we can have afterwards. And please, if you have any question, just interrupt us and ask, because this is what the evening should be about the discussion and inspiration. So as Rania said, my name is Hana. Actually, I come from Prague, where where I've been living for the last 25 years. And before I moved to Prague, I lived and I was born in a very small city in the Czech Republic, which is quite important because this is the city where I not only lived, but I also took the university, because we could not afford me to study somewhere in the prestigious universities in Prague or in other cities. So I studied locally where I lived, and I am quite proud of it, because I can say that when you really want to do something and want to achieve something, you can. So, so when I moved to Prague, I was looking for a job, and I didn't know how to find a job because I was just after university. And I went to the first personal agency to an interview. And they just kept me there because they liked my approach. They liked that I was sales-oriented. And they offered me a job of a consultant for temporary jobs, which those days, and this is very important for the IKIGAI kind of work, because those days in Czech Republic, the flexibility at work and the temporary jobs, it was perceived like, you know, very short-term jobs for students only. It was not something, the industry was perceived very badly. But I believe that people, and I really deeply believed that people need flexibility at work, that they just don't need permanent jobs, but they also need projects, part-time jobs, or short-term jobs. So I truly believe that this is important for the people, and it makes a sense that we can raise it on the market. And because I really deeply believed in that, I was really passionate about developing this kind of jobs. I was very successful. So after first 6 months, I became a manager of a small team. And I just grew, and within these 15 years, I grew to a position of managing director of a globally #1 HR company, which is Randstad. It's a Dutch company, and I was offered the job of a managing director of Czech and Slovak Republic. So it was only through the huge passion and huge sense and meaning I really felt in this, that I took a job which the first days my partner told me that it's very badly perceived market, that I should not join this, I shouldn't do this, because I was educated and I was capable and so on. So, you know, he told me it's a pity if I do this, if I dedicate my time to flexible jobs. And I told him, no, I just believed that people need this. So I started raising the market. And after a few years, I also learned that in abroad, this market is very huge, that it is a well developed industry, which has its rules and the laws are, you know, that it needs to be compliant with laws. So in Czech Republic, I was also involved in the legislation and how to build it so that for the people who are getting these flexible or temporary jobs, that they can have the same rights as the people who have permanent jobs. So it was a big achievement in the Czech Republic that we achieved that the personal agencies need to pay to the flexible people the same salary as are paid to the headcount people of the companies. So this is very briefly the story I wanted to share, because I really believe that when you start doing, you really believe into, it can take you to an enormous career, enormous successes, enormous business. So
I'm very curious to see their
Yeah.
studies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
They have so they have
yes.
data.
So there's
So
some.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at it right after. Cool.
well,
Yeah,
sure, the
man.
link that should be in your Slack.
So
maybe we can ask
uh,
people to mute themselves so that we can hear each other.
so
Thank
can,
you.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
please can you mute yourselves, anyone who, in order to have the clear voice. So
Uh-huh.
then you decided to start Jobs 2030,
Yes,
and
yes.
I was really fascinated when I read that it is based on the concept Ikigai,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been lately hearing about the concept that we need to find our purpose in life, and but no one can explain it in a let's say in a precise way until I found this ikigai concept, which explain it somehow in a more clear way, and you
Mm-hmm.
can follow through it and
Mm-hmm. Yes,
can measure it. So it's
yes.
interesting that you based your startup based on this clear concept. And please tell us more about what do you do in Jobs
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
2030? How
okay.
did the idea came to you, and what is your experience until now with the
Mm-hmm.
Ikigai, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
how people are
yeah.
benefiting from this?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. The main reason I founded Jobs 2030 is that in Randstad, in the position of managing director, I learned a lot about the future of work and how it will be changed with the technologies, and what will the technologies do with our work. So I understood that within the coming years there needs to be an enormous change and transformation at work. The other reasons I found Jobs 2030 was also that in the personal agency, I could see, because we were, when I joined the agency, it was a very small company on the Czech market with only like 50 employees and revenue about 20 million, 20 million euros. And within 3 years, in a very, very highly competitive market, it is one of the most competitive markets in the Czech Republic. We grew to become number 2 on the market with 250 employees, and with the revenue almost 4 times higher. So it was sort of a miracle for us. And the main reason why it happened and why we succeeded was that we lived the vision. We lived the purpose of the company, and every person in the company was aligned to this purpose. So all the newcomers who joined the company went through the onboarding process, and I personally spoke to every person, what is our goal, what is our mission, and why we do the things we are doing. So I aligned it under one vision, and it appeared to be a really strong driver for the energy of the company. So we really succeeded something, but what no one on the market would think it is possible. So I was thinking how to why it happened and why we succeeded, and I really learned how important it is to live in a company, the vision in the company. So at the end, I also, during a workshop, I also found out what is the mission or the purpose of each member of the top management. And I found out that when we work with the mission within the management team, and when everyone is when I work with my colleagues and with my team according to their mission, people are much more happy, much more satisfied, and much more successful. And most importantly, for my bosses on the European level, the company was also much more effective, financially effective. So it went to the effectiveness. So I understood that this whole concept is really unique, and it is something that is differentiating the company on the market. And I found out because, you know, every company wants to grow, every company wants to be more successful, every one company wants to have higher profit and satisfy people. And to combine all of this, it's quite difficult. And sometimes people are, sometimes companies and managements are pushing the activities for the people so that they are more productive. And this was not the way I wanted to do with the people, because I could lose them. So what I did is that I really enhanced them and supported the vision and why they need to do the things. And together with the mission of each of the management team members, it appeared to be a very, very strong concept. So I started thinking how to spread it on the market. And that was the main reason I founded Jobs 2030, because it's really about real transformation at work. And it's something very new and I believe very necessary for the future, because companies are needs to be successful, needs to grow, but I believe there are certain limits if you don't work with other sources. So that was the main reason I founded Jobs 2030, because I wanted to use also other sources and the energy of people, and to support it to the companies to work differently. So we in Jobs 2030, we also prepared our own methodology for the people, how based on the IKIGAI model, to find their right career, to the right and authentic career path. And this is what I will speak a bit later about. And also because it's very difficult for many people to change the career path, and because there are always something like, I would love to, but I've got a mortgage. I would love to, but I've got a family. I can't now, I would love to, but I'm not ready for that. So we were thinking how to help people do the first step and just change the career, because we believe that it is possible. And when they do it, they can be much more successful than in the job before. So we started working with the virtual reality. We are coaching in the 3D, and people visualize what they feel. So we connect information with the emotions, and people can feel how is it if they are in the new job. So many of their blocks just disappear. So this is the combination of the Ikigai style of work, and the supporting them to have the courage to do that. And that's all because my personal mission is to provide people with the courage to change their life at work, and to have only like one life and one work together. So that's my mission.
Yeah, so this is your mission, and you use technology in order to expand it and spread it.
Yes.
This tells us that we need to look at technology. It's not the end of the end of the purpose of our goal, let's say, but it's a mean to
It's a mean. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a tool that helps us to spread what we need to a lot of people. So
Rania, thank you for saying that, because this is the main message. The technologies, it's only a mean, and it's a support for the people, and people can do things only if they want to do things.
Yeah.
So they can then use other sources, then can use technologies, to be more successful. But it's all about them, what they want to do and how they want to do it.
Yeah. So I just want to let's talk more about the way you do it. So before we started this session, I was talking to you that finding the ikigai is not maybe something you will just finish your university and then, yes, I know what is my purpose in life. It's not like this. It's for me, I told you that it was like a very long journey of knowing myself and searching and exploring a lot of bunch of things in between volunteering and between my interests and blah blah blah. But at the end, it's like collecting a lot of puzzles, and then you collect them, and then, oh, this aha moment, yes, maybe this is my ikigai, and then you go through it, and then you try, and it
Mhm.
will work. So how do you work with people? You make this customized solution for people based on their past, and how do you do this processing?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. First of all, maybe I should explain also what's the methodology about. So Ikigai is a style of life we would like to have at work. So it's about knowing what you are strong at. And so it's about your natural talents, but not like talents that you are a musician or a football player or something like that, but your real talents at work, where you have the biggest added value with most ease. What you do, even if where you achieve results, even if you don't push it so much. So this is the talent that needs to be discovered. And I discovered that of like a few years ago, and I'm really sorry that it was so late. So this is the what you are good at. Not only not only your experience and your education, but we also strengthen your natural talents. For the natural talents, there are several methodologies we use. It can be Gallup. It is Roger Hamilton's talents dynamics, which we like a lot because it's very easily applicable. So these are the tests where we use, and we check with people when they have their natural strengths and what are their achievements at work. So we go through their CV, and we check their achievements and their results, and how they are connected to their strengths and to their talents. So people really discover what are the activities, not what is the job like itself, if it is a HR director or financial or whatever, but what are the activities they should do at work, so that they really work with ease. I can give you example. For example, according to the talent dynamics, I'm a creator, which
yeah,
is a person. I probably you know it. You know the methodology is quite famous. But I'm a person who is strongly visionary, who is who likes the helicopter view, who is very innovative, who is full of ideas and new projects, and something very innovative. So and I have always been like this. Since I was very little, my mom told me that I've got too many ideas. I've got too fast to changing the ideas and so on. So I discovered that this is also something that people know me about me,
yeah,
that they can trust me naturally, that I will always think of something new. So if I don't know what to do and I cannot rely, for example, for my last experience, I will just use this talent that I'm a creator. I will always think of something how to do things. Um, so uh, so uh, in my job, when I should do only the analysis and management of KPIs and results and financial audits, which I did as managing director, basically because it's a lot about numbers and arguing the numbers and presenting the numbers to the board and so on. So I always needed to have the higher vision there. So, but what I want to say is that people naturally trust you if you are working according to your talent. So they will always come to you. So when you use it, you've got better results than the others, and you've got their trust, which is very important. So that's why we first go in the session what the people are good at, and we do it like in the coaching one-to-one or in the workshops. Second is what you love, what you are really passionate about, and where your heart is. So it's very it's we always say this is like your inner engine. So what do you really love to do? It's some people might think that this is sort of naive to work at the area I really love to, but just imagine that you do, that your biggest and long-term hobby is your job. So it brings you a lot of new energy. It brings you a lot of information because you naturally go and learn in this area. You are really hunting the new information because you are interested in this topic. So I had to pass many trainings, many workshops just because I had to, but I was not passionate about it. So I just, I went to the training and just forgot afterwards. So when you are really passionate in something, you just learn naturally. So this is another reason why to work, because one of the skills to be successful in the job is long-term learning. So try to imagine that you learn something you really love and you learn something that you have to. This is a big difference in your satisfaction in life and at work. So that's why we also discover what you are passionate and how you can connect it to your work, and what are the industries you could work in, what are the kind of businesses you could set up or you could join as an employee, or what are the positions that you can do. If it is should be like more HR in what kind of like industry or whatever. So these are the passions. So what you love to do, and then what is important, because it's a job, what you can be monetized for. So we always look for how to combine these activities and your like inner motivation with what's possible on the market, whether there are such positions on the market, how they are paid for, what are the businesses, if you would like to set up your own business, so what should be the direction, and how to plan the startup, and how to get investors, how to finance it, and so on. So because I had to prepare many like business plans, 3 years plans, and long-term plans. I am mentoring people how to start this business. Yeah. And the last thing, the most important, is the purpose, what the world needs and what you need. So we always discover what's your inner purpose, which is at certain age you already have some idea, or have some direction. So we go very deeply, and we just make one or two sentences of the core purpose. And once you know this, it's really amazing, because it's very like when people find out what's their purpose, they just start shining. And you also see much better the opportunities that are coming, and there are always opportunities on the market. Even if there is high unemployment rate or whatever, there are always some opportunities, and when we are open and ready for them, you just see them and you go for them, because you've got inner certainty that is the right path for you. So this whole concept is very strong, because if you really want to live a satisfied life, you really need to be also satisfied and fulfilled at work, because otherwise I saw many people who were really very successful, earning a lot of money, but very unhappy in their life. And it influenced not only them, it influenced their families, their kids, everyone around them. And it also caused a lot of stress to them. So it influenced negatively the health, and not even well-being, but sometimes the health. So it's really important to have it aligned and connected, interconnected.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we talked also, Hana, about the high unemployment mm-hmm. rate in Jordan, which is hit 19.3% mm-hmm. in quarter one for 2020, mm-hmm. and especially in this time after COVID-19, where a lot of people started to rethink their careers, and a lot of people maybe lost their jobs. And so how can Ikigai help in letting people take the courage to take a look at this concept and as you say, to see the opportunity, not the pain. And after this question, also you need to talk about how what the future jobs look like. Maybe it's the same.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yes.
a lot of
Yes.
yeah,
It's my area. Yes.
yeah,
It is the same actually. Yes, it is.
yeah,
Yes. So future jobs. It's you know, I was presenting in many conferences about the future of jobs, and the message is the message was the message was that the world is changing very rapidly because of the technologies. The technologies change the way how we work. And there is a huge demand for automation and robotization of the jobs because it's more economical for the companies. But it's economical only in those areas which are high volumed and routine. So the jobs which are really where many people work and do the same activities, then it's high probability that it will be automized. So many people were scared that they will lose their job, and the positive message is that the technologies, the jobs in technologies only grow. For the last 15 to 20 years, jobs which were based on the STEM positions, in the STEM positions, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, they were only growing. So doesn't matter whether there was a crisis or not, they were only growing. So that was the first message. And the second message was that the technologies bring new jobs. And they bring more new jobs than the classic industry, because the classic industry creates only 1.7 or 1.8 new jobs, but the jobs in the technology field has the multiplier about 2.7 to even 4.3. So, and these new jobs are not only based in the technology, like they are not only the STEM jobs, like in the science jobs, but they are also the human-based jobs, because they create new jobs in, for example, person-to-person communication, or care, or development, or education, or, you know, these people carrying new jobs where there is used creativity, there is used intuition, there is used arts of people. So these are to grow. And this actually is what led me to this concept of Ikigai, because many people will have to transform their job. They will just have to, because the technologies will make them. And what will they do? How will they find what they should do? You know, where are the new positions? So that's why also I found out that it's very important that people know where there is the added value, where there is their strengths. So even more, it is more important it is to that they know what is their added value through the Ikigai style, Ikigai way of life, way of work. So that was one thing. And the second thing is that when they also learn how to use technologies, it will scale their business a lot. So this is the combination.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
So if I should mention some activities or some positions that might be disappearing, and what's moreover, the COVID has just fastened that whole process, which was the automation and, you know, the changes at work were planned for coming years. But I believe that companies and people had just had to learn very suddenly, unexpectedly, but they had to, all of the population had to learn how to work with the technologies. No matter whether it is in education or it is in normal offices or, you know, anywhere, they just had to use the technologies. So all of the plans that were planned for the coming years, they are just happening now. So, the more urgent it will be to really transform the uh, uh, the how do I look at my work? You know, what will I do? How will I see the opportunities? Where are they? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, so if we want to talk about also, you know, this there was the World Economic Forum talked about the future skills that
Mm-hmm.
you know, and yes, in the upcoming years, they talked more about emotional intelligence, talked about more people skills. Uh, is that uh, was a result of automating and having more technology doing our tasks, and then people skills would rise.
Mm-hmm.
Are we still expecting this in the future?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely. There are also researches that people who have higher emotional intelligence are more successful in jobs. And I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was like much more successful than those people who are really like only intelligent. So, and also the emotions, this is what is making a difference between us and the technologies. So if we use, and people need emotions, you know, people need to have interactions with other people. They are we are social beings. So, and we need the care, we need the development. So not everything can be used with technologies. The future of jobs, when there will be many new opportunities, are in this like human touch jobs, in the jobs where like for example therapists or the salesperson, or in communication, in education, in the training, in personal development, and these kind of jobs are going are predicted to really grow hugely in the future.
Yeah.
So yes, and that's about the emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So let's open the door for participants. If anyone would like to ask or uh, have any thoughts about what we were talking about, have any questions to Hana, anyone?
Maybe I can ask if every one of you knows what is the path, what you really believe in, what you can achieve, or if you have it clear in yourself.
Yeah, you mean if they have talk about their
Purpose, for example.
yeah, yeah. Anyone would like to talk?
Do you want to share if you know?
Yeah, anyone who would like to share their purpose in life, if they found their ikigai, or if they're still searching.
If you are looking for the
Oh,
ikigai, yes.
yeah, if they are looking, yes. Anyone would like to add anything? Please don't hesitate. It's just like
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
who-
if
yes, yes, Natalie.
hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, yes, Natalie.
Yes, it's a very interesting topic. I've been introduced to IKIGAI a few years ago, and I wasn't like coached to do it, but I do it myself, and I find it very, very helpful. It helped me 2 years ago to determine the job that I'm currently in. But after doing it for 2 years, I noticed that I lost my passion, or I don't know if my personality changed or like my drive changed, or you talked about an inner engine. So I was wondering how, like, if Ikigai changes with time, and because like I found it years is too short, but this is like, it felt like this is not what I want to do. So what do you recommend I do now?
Thank you, Natalie. I thank you a lot because I think that especially for people who are in the beginning of their career path, it's very important to know at least some parts of the IKIGAI. And because if you are in the middle of your career or if you are in some top position, it's always difficult to do the step away from the career. So it's very good that they are looking for it from the very beginning. What I would do in your place, I would definitely look for the talents, to use some of the personality tests, either talent dynamics or Gallup, so that you really know your strengths, which you can use at work, and to start working according to that. And once you do more activities based on not your talents, then you need to change either the activities or the job, because this is what is leading to the burnout. So first of all, try to find your talents and how to use them in your daily work. Secondly, use your heart, use your passions, and you said very correctly that the passions can differentiate. You can be very much interested in one topic. Pardon.
Yes.
And in a few years, you find out that there is a new topic that is really attracting your heart. So just don't be afraid to change it, because this really can develop. You know, it is developing with you, with your personality. I would also not say in the beginning of my career that I would love to work for I would put my life for the Ikigai way of work and for the transformation at work. You know, this is something that is really developing, and where is your intuition leading you to? So just follow it. And once you really don't have your heart at work and you don't feel any passion there, try to look for where you've got a passion. What can be, where else can you go to? And when you are in the very beginning of your career, don't be afraid to just change jobs more often than you would do normally. Of course, when it is safe that you really have the job, but you don't have to be afraid to really try what's best fitting to you. Based on the purpose, I'm not quite sure if it is based on age, but people have more clear purpose when they are about, I don't know, 30, 35 years old. So there's more pressure to find it, you know. So don't be, you can try to look for it, what is really like, what is giving you the inner certainty that you go the Rast path, the Rast way, but you don't have to be stressed that you don't know, but you know, just try to look for it.
Yeah.
Did I answer?
Natalie, is that okay? Also, we have a
Yes,
question from.
perfectly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Ghaid is asking, how can we find our purpose? I think you answered. Yeah.
In general, to find your purpose, you can do it in a different ways. It depends how you approach yourself and how you trust yourself. Actually, you can find it through, like, you know, going deeply in yourself, and you know, just trying to find it yourself. But I always recommend to have a coach or to have a guide for this, because they can help you really to have it very clear, to really know it very. It's like a diamond in you, and when you want to find a diamond, it's always good when you've got guides for that. So I'm just recommending this because this was my my path, and there was someone who really helped me to to go as deep as possible and who didn't let me stay on the ground. And she really pushed me to it was like the onion, you know, and unpeeling the onion. When you put away one layer after the other, I wouldn't manage that just myself. I was not ready for that those days, but now I think I can. So it's all about your personal development. If you already are aware about your inner motivations, and if you are not, just, you know, don't be afraid to ask for support the other people, because this is so important that we know it about ourselves, that, you know, this is something that I wouldn't hesitate to invest into. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we have a question from
Mm-hmm.
Rana.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yes.
I understood that correctly, you mentioned using 3D virtual technology to help people know what's for when looking for jobs. Can you elaborate more on this? So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. So we were looking for a tool which helps people to do the first step, as I said, because when you want to change the career in the middle, it's always very difficult, because very often people are in some sort of a golden cage. They've got, you know, the certainty, most of all. They've got the money there, they've got everything, they've got experience in the field, and they just don't dare to step into uncertainty. So we were looking for a tool which enables them to feel much better how they would if they work in the new job. So we found out that the virtual reality is very strong and powerful transformation tool. We use also some applications, because, you know, there are many applications for the jobs. But what we do is like we do 3D coaching in virtual reality, where people visualize. It means that they draw or they write or they just, you know, we work with pictures there, and we navigate them to their feelings. And it's like a very, very deep process where people realize that I see, that's it, and they just feel it in their stomach. So this is a very strong power of the virtual reality, and we have very good results with that. I would say that 95% of people have really like a strong I see moments and find their inner certainty. There are about 5% of people who it doesn't work for them, but in general it works very well. So we adjust, and the person who is like in the virtual reality, the person creates it himself or herself. So they just create their own world, and we navigate them what it does to them. We had also teams of companies, for example, they build a vision together in the virtual reality, and then they allow their new boss to step into their world, and it was a very strong process for all of them. And the new boss was very much impressed, because he just somehow understood in a different way what they wanted to explain him, what is their past. So this is we use like in the coaching process, and it's very strong. Mm-hmm.
So I just
Mm-hmm.
before this question, you do online coaching, like,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And the clients must have this VR tool in order to um, go through the process.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm just answering the questions about the
Yes.
talent personality test.
Test. Yeah.
So I'm recommending to, and if you want, we can do it with you. We can also explain you how to use it and what are the activities you
Yeah.
should use it, because we've got really very, very, very deep.
Yeah.
And I would say also, because we did a check and analysis about 500 positions, and we checked what and how to connect the strengths with the activities which are hidden in the positions. Because please don't just look at the position. A position the name can be the same, but the content can be very different. So we always go after the content, what activities are there and how to connect them with your strengths. Because there can be an HR director who is very much process and analytically oriented, and there be an HR director who is very much working with the engagement of people, emotions of people, developing of people, and so on. And these are two very different approaches for you. Mm-hmm.
I took the Strength Finder from Gallup, but it's the first time I hear about talent dynamics. So it's,
yes.
Thanks for sharing this. So
yes.
Anyone else would like to share anything? Any contribution? Thank you, Rana. Thanks
Hello,
for,
hello.
Thanks for being with
Hello,
us.
Simone.
Hannah, how are you?
Hello, Simone.
Fine, fine. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. I have a question about the last point you touched upon. Most companies in the world still maintain very old position tags. You know, sometimes when we chat about the chief happiness officer, even in the most advanced minds, they go, ha, 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 ha. They go giggling about that concept and everything that encapsulates. What is your experience in trying to, to pierce this veil of old belief
yes.
that drives people to create positions?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've got a big advantage, all the companies here on the numbers, on the increasing of effectiveness, increasing of profit, and increasing of the growth, and everything. So that's my advice. Look for the numbers. I always present numbers, how it can improve the company's results if they use a different approach. And I very often use my example, which I was talking in the beginning, that within 3 years, I managed to grow the Randstad company on the Czech market to become number 2, even on the very, very highly competitive market. Even though when I started, the company was very small with zero profitability. We improved all the numbers, and within 3 years, we became number 2. Really number 2. We outgrew Adecco. I outgrew, you probably know GI. GI was very small, but they bought a very big company on the Czech market, which was Grafton. We overgrew Grafton. We overgrew everyone on the market except one company. So it was sort of a miracle on the market. So I always present these numbers and the story behind which caused this enormous growth. And the story is that we worked with the vision and with the engagement of people, and that we aligned them, all of them, to the vision of the company, and that I found the purpose of the top management members, which helped me to even increase the effectiveness, because I split the work differently among them, so that they were more satisfied, more fulfilled, and I didn't have to increase so much their salary at the end, So these are the advices the companies want to hear. It's simple, money.
I hope I'm not taking too much of the time, but on this, right? When trade unions, for instance, have collective national contracts, most of the times, most people need to work with the titles and the positions that have been, so to speak, encapsulated by such contracts. Have you seen that have you faced that type of problem?
Well, yes, because in the Czech legislation, you need to have comparable conditions on the positions in some, places. But it is also for the flexible workers, so that, they are compliant with the legislation. So in some companies, it is more because of this legislation setups, it is more difficult. So I always advise to start, but also within these companies, there are some, islands, disruptive islands that are starting to think differently and innovatively. So what is the second advice? All the companies, especially these days, need to be very innovative, and they need to transform themselves. They need to adapt to the new conditions, and they need to be innovative. Now, the company which is innovative can survive and can grow. Without innovations, I believe the companies will very much end in the trash. So the companies are aware that they need to innovate. And how you want to innovate? Where do you want to find innovations? Just that you allow people to innovate. And you cannot let people innovate if they are in their own structure. So you need to change something. And the change can be, okay, do this, try to do this, open the minds of the people, because here is where you find innovations. So you can do it. And I believe companies through this can be pushed to start changing themselves, even those that are most like structured and bureaucratic based.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Simon. Anyone else?
I have another one if no one has. How do you maintain the IKIGAI model for logic minds? IKIGAI allows for a lot of non-logic, emotive thinking, so to speak, also spiritualism, right? So be integrated into the way we look at life. But so how do you maintain it when you have to consult for people that, after all, they're looking for specific grid lines, so to speak?
Well, very good question. Really good.
Interesting.
Really good question.
Yeah.
You are speaking to a most logical person, a rational person that could be ever. It's me. nice to meet you. Till I was 35. Till I was 35, I really had to. I was so much proud that I was so rational, so logical, so science-based, that you couldn't find a better person in this. But then things started changing. So I think this is about the development of the person, that sometimes it works that you are only and purely logical, and you don't have to find the Ikigai way, because it's just enough for you. It works for you somehow. Maybe you are not so happy, but you are not so unhappy. But many times people start to feel being very unhappy. And even those logical minds, they have feelings, they have emotions, and they feel that something is not correct, something is not right in their lives, something needs to be changed, and they just don't know what and how, but they just feel it. That's what happened to me, because I got to a moment in my life where I just couldn't understand why it didn't work the same way before and after, because I was very unhappy in one job. I am still very emotional, and I was not happy in my job, and my life started changing, and nothing worked like before, and I just couldn't. My mom died very suddenly, and I just stopped understanding my life. So I started searching what's going on, and what can be done differently. So I started searching. I found out that there can be different ways than just the logical one. That I've got intuition, and I had very strong intuition, and just was building my whole career on that, and I just didn't know it. So, but then I started to be aware that I can work with it, and I started to learn how to use it and how to rely on these things. So I'm just saying that everyone has got his or her own path. It doesn't even the ratio and the logical mind, it can be enough to a certain point. But if you have feeling that you want to do something more, you want to develop, you want to work more easily, you want to be more happy, this is just the way how to do things, and people, I believe that people are on the way, that people understand more and more that this is the way.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Anyone else?
And also, one more point about it. I became managing director as the rational person, as the very strongly analytical, and also that's one of the reasons. Except the passion, it was one of the reasons why I was also successful.
Yeah.
But still, it was not enough. At the end, I found out that there can be even much more to do if we work with the purpose. And this is when I realized this, I just realized that this is the big drive for the economy, for the businesses, for the companies. And if they start working in it, they can be even more successful, and it doesn't have to be so much pressure on people.
So do you think, Hannah, that um, um, finding a meaningful purpose has to do a lot with um, people and benefiting people and dealing with people? It's not.
Yeah.
Is it the case for
Yeah. Yes.
for most of the
Yes.
for most
Yes.
of us, right? Yeah.
Yes. Because if you know it, it gives you somehow your inner certainty. And when you've got the certainty, people around yourself trust you more. So you are convincing the other people that you know what you are doing and that you know what's your added value to them. And people who feel that you are bringing the added value, they are more likely to become your customers, and this is the engine that really works naturally. If you bring and you want to bring added value to the people, and you know it, and you really shining with the certainty that you know that you are bringing it, everything else will help you to succeed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. So they're asking about your contact
Mm-hmm.
information.
Yes, I will give you my email address.
Yeah.
This is the most easiest one, or you can use you can use both.
Yeah. Serene has a
Mm-hmm.
she's talking about Myers-Briggs personality types. This is also
Mm-hmm.
the first time I hear about. Thank you, Serene,
Mm-hmm.
for your
Mm-hmm. Yes.
contribution. Yeah.
Yeah, look, all the personality tests should lead us to the same result. So it doesn't matter which one you use because it's all about you, And if there is one test saying something different than the others, then there is some mismatch in that. So
Yeah. So I have a question on Gallup Strength Finder test, Hannah. Is it like they say you do it once and you have those top 5 strengths and then they will not change
yes,
across
yes,
your lifetime, right?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because
These are the
they are born
talents.
with you.
There are some researches that the talents are coming to you either in the when you are in the belly of your mother. I don't know how it's called, or within those 3 months after birth. So it's really it's your gift which you should work with, and it doesn't change. Mhm. The passions, they change, it is developing. The purpose, it can change in your life, but it's more stable than the passions. And the skills is something you develop and you work on, so that, for example, how you use technologies, what management skills you have, or the critical thinking, or whatever. This is what you really what you are learning how to do things. This is also developing, but talents not. Mm-hmm.
Mahir is talking about it's somehow illustrative, frustrating learning differentiate between the two, but quite yeah, it's as Hannah said, it's part of um, personal our
Mm-hmm.
personal development across the years. Thanks, Mahir, for your
Mm-hmm.
contribution. Anyone else like to say anything, please? Okay, so if no one, I think we're now 9. So if no one has any question or anything, thank you, Siri, and thank you, Ghaida. Thanks all for being with us. We hope that you enjoyed. I personally enjoyed. I like I loved this subject so much, and I really enjoyed talking to you, Hannah.
Thank
So
you.
thank you, and thanks for everyone. Thank you, Natalie, Simon. Oh, thank you all, and looking forward to seeing you in next online event.
Thank you. And I would like to thank you. I really very much like that I could speak to you in Amman, because I was in Amman. I really very much like Jordan and the city of Amman. So I'm really like glad
Thank
that
you,
I
Hannah.
could reconnect with you.
We hope to have you with us physically.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.